First things first, I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for the love and support you gave my last video. Now, I think enough time has passed. I give you guys a few days to see it just to avoid spoilers. But I wanted to talk about the topic I mentioned in my previous video where I said that Rorschach's prison scenes were cut short. More specifically, the scenes between him and Dr. Malcolm Long. So this is a spoiler alert, I guess, in case you haven't seen it. Now, it's not a big spoiler, but in case you are super strict about that, then spoiler warning. In Chapter 6 of the original Watchmen comic titled The Abyss Gazes Also, Rorschach has sessions with Dr. Psychiatrist Malcolm Long, and here Malcolm tries to see what exactly makes Rorschach tick, tries to get into his mind a little bit. And this premise does exist in the animated film itself. However, they cut out how each session affects Dr. Malcolm himself outside of their therapy sessions. Now, thankfully, they do keep the iconic line from Rorschach of, "I'm not locked in here with you, you're locked in here with me." And this line is very important detail to the story-wise because not only does it apply to Rorschach's current situation, but it also applies to Dr. Malcolm as he thinks that he could use his psychiatry skills to kind of have Rorschach locked and wrapped around his fingers during their session, but in reality, it's Dr. Malcolm that's locked in by Rorschach as he goes home and he's super obsessive about the case he's working on with Rorschach himself, to the point where his wife is begging for his attention, anything to get him off the work. And it gets to the point where his wife calls him out on how obsessed he is with Rorschach, and that's when he finally realizes Rorschach was absolutely right. He's not locked in here with us, we're locked in here with him. Or in this case, Rorschach is not actually being picked apart here, it's actually Dr. Long. And this is also evident in the comic book as we see that he can't even have a simple family dinner with his friends without the Rorschach case coming up. And Rorschach's other ideas of, "we do it because we are compelled," and his statement of, "it's us and only us in the world," or in general, is also present in the film. Again, we don't see how it affects Dr. Malcolm. In the comic, Dr. Malcolm is having a hard time accepting what Rorschach is saying to him, as he's telling Dr. Malcolm that existence is just random and that things happen without a cause. There's no higher power or destiny that shapes our world to be what it is. What really shapes our world is just simply us and nothing more. This statement from Rorschach really gets into Dr. Malcolm's head because Rorschach's thinking is just simply too black and white for a psychiatrist like him. Like all psychiatrists believe, there has to be a cause or a deeper meaning. There's no possible way it could just be black and white. There has to be color to it somehow. And here's the best part of this chapter. Now at the end, Dr. Malcolm goes home, he gets scolded by his wife again, and after that, he decides to take a look at one of the Rorschach blocks he tries to get Rorschach to look at during their sessions, and he tries to make the picture into something as not as best as he can, but to his surprise, he can't do it, because at the end of the day, it's just a picture of a black blob. It's empty. And this shows that no matter how hard you try to find a deeper meaning to something, there is no deeper meaning. There is no color to this black and white logic. Sometimes things just happen without a cause. Sometimes people are just compelled to do things without reasoning. And Dr. Malcolm continues to stare into the abyss, which is the Rorschach blot, as he finally realizes that we really are alone and that there's nothing else but just them, as the abyss gazes also. I really wish they had kept this segment in the film because it would have just expanded the world a little bit more. It would have showed that not only do these masked heroes affect people by rescuing their lives or changing political factors of the world, but they're also affected by how these heroes think, and they're affected to the point where it's not shown to the world, but how these heroes affect people's thinking or mindset individually by themselves internally. And we see this as we're shown Dr. Malcolm, a psychiatrist who's proud of himself and his work, who always thinks he's the one that's right, but in reality, he was wrong this entire time, right after he met Rorschach and realizes what Rorschach was saying was coming to light in his own life outside of the therapy sessions. So had they kept this in the film, it would have just made everything a little bit better. Yeah, the film would have been a few minutes longer, but that would have been a good sacrifice, because it would have made the world feel much more real. It would have made that side character stand out a little bit. It would have made Rorschach's black and white mindset much more colorful, ironically. So yeah, that's all I had to say on that. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, whether you agree with me or not. And as always, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and the notification bell so you can know when I make new videos. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.